I am so sorry.
Why would you be so sorry?
That's what Deb says. At the end of your episode, 804 Scar Tissue. I'm sitting here with Tim Schlattmann, writer of that episode, executive producer.
Yes.
Yes. On the final season of Dexter.
Final season.
And we keep bringing that up every podcast. We keep thinking, wow,
do you keep saying that the end is beginning?
The end is nigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something.
It is.
Because you've been on since the very beginning.
And I was just talking with Lauren Gussis, who also has been with us since the beginning, and you're kind of in there as well. And you know, when you look at the the collective shared experience that the three of us have, and then as a group of writers, we've had a real stability to the staff, and to get a group of people that have a shared experience like that
for 8 years.
Yeah.
Every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 to 7 p.m.
Yeah,
hanging out together.
And it was no secret that to have Dexter air earlier this year, that meant that we, the writers, had to come back so much earlier.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for 16 months straight, and that sounds like maybe not such a big deal in other professions, but in a profession that requires brain power and to think of things and to try and be fresh and also just not repeat yourself.
That was a season 7 and 8. They both were like, we'd pitch something, everyone would be like, yeah, that's great, and suddenly someone would go, we did that in episode 402.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh yeah.
And I don't know if this happened to you this season, but I know that there were times where I would be writing something and I'm having this, have I written this before?
Yeah.
This is really, really familiar. And I'd go back and, oh, wow, I haven't, but...
Well, because a lot of times it would be a pitch that happened, and then we started moving on that, and then it got pulled or switched, or we had to flip it around. And
that was...
There's all these weird meta journeys that Dexter's been on.
And
that nobody knows about.
I think that's a series right there. To kind of plumb through all the things that we could have done, and the things that got shot down either internally or externally outside the writers' room. But it did all start to blur because season 7 did bleed into season 8 for us, and the actors and everybody got a break.
It's like a network show, sort of. We did 24 episodes,
and. But even a network show would get a little bit more of a break. And they have a larger writing staff, which was the other thing. You do that many episodes, you've got more people obviously working, in the story and in the process. And for us, it was just, the same, 8 faces every day. For 60 months straight. And
very few weekends. We only worked.
Yeah, I mean, for television hours, I mean, we were somewhat civilized. And you could have other activities and things.
And for you, that's the gym.
That is the gym.
It's like you and Campbell are the fittest writers in Hollywood.
Yeah. See, if there was a video component to all of this, you would see the pull-up contest.
That's right. That's the kind of things that happen in the writers' room. Suddenly, things are spinning out a little bit, and suddenly one person says, "I could do more pull-ups than you," and Karen Campbell has to take it on.
And just for the record, since this will stand the test of times, I destroyed Karen Campbell.
It's true. He did.
I did.
He did. And we were all thinking, there's no way Tim's going to beat Karen.
Yeah.
Karen's yoked.
Because I also
you're
think,
more yoked.
Yeah, but I think subconsciously you guys were all rooting for me to, hear a horrible snap, and so that she would win. It's kind of like when Peter and Greg were doing the chin-ups in the Brady episode, and you think, oh God, Greg's going to just kick his ass, and and sure enough, he couldn't do it, and deep down, you were kind of wanting Greg to fail. I kind of feel it. I was Greg in that equation.
Because it all comes back to the Brady punch.
Yeah, it does. But now that I think about it, was it Bobby? Was it Bobby and Greg?
I don't know. All I remember is the one where they went to Hawaii and spider.
Damn tarantula.
Yeah.
The tarantula, Vincent Price.
Yeah, that's why I remember it. Yeah. Scar Tissue. We should maybe talk about your episode.
Nah.
Why the title Scar Tissue?
Why Scar Tissue? As I'm sure you've talked with the other writers. We've always approached Dexter from a very thematic place with our storytelling. And with where Dexter and Deb are in their relationship. I think, we as a group, we're just kind of talking about, what kind of wounds do you carry throughout your life? Right. And some of those things, there will be a reminder, and it's in the form of a scar.
Yeah.
And
you know about that.
I do, yes. And, scars and stitches, and there's a story behind it, and memories behind it. And
it's like that scene in Jaws, sort of.
Yeah,
they're all sitting around.
Yeah, when somebody rolls up a shirt sleeve, and all of a sudden, wow. And there's a story behind it and memories behind it. And for this episode, it was really Dexter wondering what kind of damage he's inflicted on Deb and whether or not she can recover from. Will she have a scar if she does get to the other side and they are able to work through their issues? And it's a real question for him. And
so the scar is sort of a good thing in this episode. If you make it to scar tissue, then,
yeah. I mean, because it is the way the body heals, and so you may have this reminder, but the fact that you formed a scar and it's not an open wound does say something about the recovery process, both physically and emotionally. And obviously Dexter didn't cause her physical harm, but the emotional harm of her discovering who he really is and just spinning out of control, and him wondering, wow, will she ever be able to get past this? Right. Will I ever be able to remain in her life?
And Dexter's experiencing this weird thing of sort of guilt.
Yeah.
Which he's never, I mean, that's a foreign thing to him.
And the thing that, Yates is pointing out to him is Yates, I'm sorry, not Yates, but Vogel. Yeah. This was the other thing about this season. Different character names just all start to blur together as well. And
especially when it's Deb, Dexter, Harry, Harrison,
Hannah. And so with Dr. Vogel, she thinks that Deb has just been a prop in Dexter's life.
Right.
And she's not understanding.
Which is how psychopaths, generally speaking,
that's
what other people are. They're accoutrement in their life.
You use them, and then you either keep them if they continue to be useful, and if not, you discard them. And so it's a kind of the first time Dr. Vogel is starting to see Dexter in a different light as well. That he might not be your typical psychopath.
Yeah. And
that these feelings that she thinks he's ascribed to his sister are manufactured and they're not real, when in fact they are, and that Deb is more of a prop in her mind, and yet as she's experiencing what Dexter is saying about his sister and how his sister made him feel, as almost like probably like a mirror that Dexter felt good about himself because she would reflect back that goodness.
Yeah.
And now that mirror is cracked, he's broken that mirror. The reflection coming back is all of the darkness that Dexter carries with him as a psychopath and as a serial killer. So it's hard for him to gaze into that reflection because he knows he's the one that broke it.
Yeah.
And him coming to terms with that and actually rejecting, Vogel's assumption that she is a prop. And he gets to a place where, no, she's more than that, and I'm not going to let her go.
Which puts Vogel in an interesting light also, because she's been tasked to make Deborah whole in some way. But I'm not entirely sure that, I mean, in the room we talked a lot about this, that Vogel really didn't have her best interests in mind necessarily.
Yeah, that's what's...
she's not like the normal sort of good guy therapist that we've seen.
And, I think... as a series, we've always done a really good job of, kind of mixing it up and making things not quite so black and white,
right.
In terms of what you might find on a network show, where you don't have as much time to tell a story. We do have that luxury in cable and, pay cable to delve a little bit deeper into characters and motivations of those characters. And, from the get-go with Dexter, you never are quite sure if he's telling you the truth or if he's, being an unreliable narrator. And I think, Vogel shares some of those same qualities.
Because she deals, when she's with Dexter, she sort of grew, even though they never met, they grew up together. I mean, basically, she formed him, heard about him every week, created this this son, so to speak, that she cares for deeply, as we find out, even though she needs him to help with the brain surgeon. But when she's dealing with Deborah, her attitude, everything is so much more, is darker almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think what Vogel realizes as, Deb is now staying with her, and clearly Deb is not a psychopath. She's done a very bad thing, but that's normal. Humans do bad things all the time. And I think, what Vogel realized was that not only was there potentially a crack in this mirror, but Vogel was going to have to break the mirror entirely, break Deb down, and see what happens after. Will she form that scar tissue? Will she, if I break her down and make her realize that what she's done isn't the end-all, be-all, that doesn't define who you are as a person.
Shooting LaGuardia.
It doesn't mean that it didn't happen and that, there aren't repercussions from the act, but it doesn't have to define the rest of your life.
Right.
And so, or
it can define the rest of your life positively. Even.
Yeah. And so, when they go back into that container that second time.
Which is so fun that it all keeps coming back to that moment of beginning, his origin. And none of them they can't escape it, these Morgans.
Yeah, these Morgans and shipping containers. Maybe Harry shouldn't have been a cop. He should have been a shipping magnate. But yeah, it does. And it gets pointed out, in the episode about just... Deb actually has the opportunity to get out of the container. The opportunity that Dexter, at least in Vogel's mind, never will have that opportunity. Right. He is locked in. There.
Yeah, and she can change, which is interesting. So you were given I've always felt like you and Lauren Gus have always been very protective of Deb.
Yeah.
As a character. From the very beginning, I remember a lot of times and it's very easy to get so involved in Dexter's dark deeds that's the fun of the story. But you guys always kept bringing it back. So it felt right that you were the one that got to bottom her out.
Yeah.
Make her hit bottom. That's probably different.
That sounds better. First off, when you have an actress like Jennifer Carpenter, she's great. And, she is really easy to write for because that emotion is just always right there on the surface of that character. And so, anytime you get to play with it and play with it in the way that still fits within the mythology of the show,
right?
Which is when you look at the backstory and what Deb grew up with, which was a father who was favoring a brother, both of them keeping a secret from her. She doesn't have a mother figure in her life,
right.
And it makes for a very sympathetic character because the cards were kind of stacked against her to begin with.
Do you feel like that's why you connected with her so much?
Maybe. I always like to root for the underdog, and when you meet Deb in the first season, she's so raw and just so needy and
stumbling around,
and unsure of herself, and you kind of understand it, and so as she has gone through that process each season to become a lieutenant of homicide, and then to have it all
to exceed her father. I mean, that's a big deal when you exceed your parents.
Yes, and and surviving the engagement to a serial killer, seeing your lover shot in front of you, and then obviously
boyfriend getting skinned.
Yeah, there is that. And then while he's in the hospital, you sleep with your old flame. So, she has had a very rich backstory. And but, I think the luxury of when you're on a series for a while, you start to get these voices in your head that are the characters' voices. And so I've always found that her voice was very easy to write.
Right.
Same with the Dexter voiceover. You did early cuts and what I think you captured was that early Dexter voice.
Thanks.
And
that was all voiceover. It was crazy.
And so it's all voiceover.
Fun. It is,
and it's a different Dexter, and
sort of poetic, and
that voiceover has evolved, as well. What he's saying to the audience, and as the character has evolved, and sure enough, Deb has done the same thing, and so how you write her is
just as many
different. Yeah.
Probably more stuff.
Still, yeah. I think that's still probably my one of my most proud moments was really kind of mixing profanity and religion together on the show, and it was Dark Defender, and she's sitting there having coffee with Dexter, and she takes a sip, and sweet Mary Mother, that's good. I think that may be my crowning achievement in the series, but it just cracks me up every time because she delivered the line exactly as it sounded in my head.
Yeah. And she said that she never really swore beforehand, and now it's just that's all she does.
I'm sure, and I think the other part that she always talks about is when people come up to her. Everyone when they come up to Michael, they want him to either do a Dexter like voiceover for their answering machine, or
sign my knife.
Yeah, sign my knife. And I think for her it's just like, can you swear for us? I know writers who will do that for free.
Let's talk about that. The car. What happened? Is that this episode?
Yeah.
I mean, the Entertainment Weekly episode.
It wasn't Jesus taking the wheel; it was Deb. But yeah, I mean, that was.
I mean, that's what I was talking about with her bottoming out.
Yeah, and
hitting bottom.
And yes, again, you keep going there.
Stop it.
And that was, when you look at, I think, as you kind of take a season in its totality, when you look at those first 4 episodes, and again, I think this is something,
First 3.
First 3. And, no, because 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, you're 804. That's right. Sorry. God, it's a blur.
Writers, we cannot count. That's why we went into the creative arts and not math. But I mean, I think one thing that we've done really well as a series, and I'm really proud of, is that again, it goes back to that theme, and we really do think through these seasons and these episodes, and it's not just the micro; it's the macro for us. Yeah. So yes, our individual episodes can stand alone and tell a story. But what I like is when you put it all together, and especially as we go into this final season, when you really, and Showtime did a very nice thing, which is they were airing everything from the very beginning all the way up to season 8. And there were some episodes that I hadn't seen for years. And I was, watching them and just, being reminded of, oh, yeah, there has been this evolution to this character, of all our characters. But mainly for Dexter, right. He's had such a unique journey, and I think it's a journey that's really been unlike any character on television. Which made it so much fun to watch and to write and to be involved in. And so with
Deb, though,
with Deb, same thing.
She finds a solution to take care of everything.
And strangely enough, that solution was Harry. Harry had come to the same conclusion, but he couldn't do it. And because she's in such a place,
let's talk about that thing with Harry.
Yeah.
That because we deal a lot with the past in this final season. Dexter's thinking about his legacy. He's looking at Harry's legacy. He's looking at Dr. Vogel's legacy. So he finds out this. He sees this tape. Deb sees this tape that Dr. Vogel shows her, saying, "Look it, you're not alone."
Yeah.
Doesn't exactly do what she expects.
Yeah. It's the. Unintended consequence of showing her only part of one tape, and then not knowing that Deb would go back and then find the very last interview that Harry did with Vogel, which again fits into our mythology of Harry walking into a kill room and seeing exactly the kind of monster he created and what that monster does, and he couldn't live with it, and it destroyed him. He stopped taking his medication, and the guilt over what he did consumed him. And then you've got Deb on the same precipice, just kind of at that same point where
with Dexter again,
and she has PTSD, and she's drinking way too much. She's trying to deal with what she saw, and in the end, she was stronger than Harry. And she decided to do what Harry couldn't do, which was, end both of their lives.
Yeah. And this Morgan curse upon the world.
Yeah. And, again, like what Vogel was trying to do with Deb is, you just break it apart and see what happens. Will this wound that has been, open and festering for these first 4 episodes, and that's the fun of, what's to come, is you'll begin to see how the wound and the healing process begins for the, brother and sister.
That's what I sort of love about when I was looking at it again. How Vogel sort of plays, Charlotte Rampling plays this like there is a world where she sort of understands that Deb could take her life after seeing these things.
Yeah.
And if she does, well, that gets her out of the way.
Yeah.
There's this sort of cold lizard eye that she gives Deb when she's meeting with her and talking with her that if the wound is fatal, so be it.
Yeah. And when we were, beginning to talk about this character, this Dr. Vogel character, and how you kind of are creating something from whole cloth in terms of motivation and who this person is. There's a scientist there, and to me that was always the unique angle to this character was if you deal in science, and Dexter, to a certain extent, because he has a vocation that is based in the sciences, blood spatter and analysis. And so you have this woman who really, if you take it to its extreme, she's Frankenstein. She's a mad scientist. But it's about the facts and hypotheses and testing theories to form a conclusion that supports your belief system, and it's the reality of the world around us, and not just the emotion that starts to factor decisions. And so, yes, as a scientist, as a doctor, there is a kind of a cold,
she's got a cold gaze.
Yeah, and she's a bit of a clinician in that sense. That sometimes a doctor has to tell you the bad news. It's not the news you want to hear, but it's the reality. It's the truth. And I think she was trying to do that with Dexter specifically, warning her that this idea of the two of you, brother and sister, being able to exist together, you may have to give that up. And that is what really is driving Dexter through this episode. Is that has never been a consideration, that he could let Deb go, and then having to wrestle with the fact, well, should I let her go if that's what she needs to heal? Maybe the healing process is actually includes me not being a part of that process,
which was breaking Dexter's small Grinch heart.
Yeah, because they as brother and sister have a unique connection that kind of like what we were describing as writers on a show. We have a shared collective experience that no one else who is never in that writer's room. We can talk about it like this, but if you weren't in there every day and experiencing it every day, there's a bit of context that you just don't have. And I kind of feel that, that's the same thing with Dexter and Deb. Their journey has been so unique together that no one else, Vogel, even Hannah from last season, no one could really understand as I think it was Deb saying to Dexter in episode 9 last year, we may have been on the same road, but we've taken 2 very different cars. But it's a road that only those 2 have traveled, which still makes it unique to the 2 of them. And that that's why that bond is so tight, and that's why Dexter is struggling to figure out, how do I fix my sister?
Yep. Little did he know that it was going to end in a pond, in a lake. Crashing into a lake where she pulls him in, this crazy suicide moment.
Yeah.
And then this was like the car crashes into the water, which was fun to see the dailies and see all the stuff that was going on with that. Dexter's knocked unconscious.
Yeah.
Deb is rescued by somebody. She comes up on shore, and then what do you think it was that made it all? I mean, I guess it has to do with this journey you're talking about that made it all snap into focus.
Because I think what Vogel learned as she's hearing what happened that night in the container, and how Deb is now, 6 months later, still processing it and still damaged by what happened, is that she has throughout her life always chosen her brother because of that bond and that connection. And that when she accepts that, that she had no choice because of this relationship with her brother, she had to choose Dexter over LaGuerta. And what she's really wrestling with is, if I had to do it all over again, which is how this episode begins, she will always choose Dexter. And
which is entirely different than the first episode, where she says, she looks Dexter in the eye in that grocery store and says, I should have shot you.
Yeah. And so Vogel's able to, again, just peel back all of this other stuff. And that is really the core issue and why she feels so guilty. Yeah. Because deep down, Deb knows that she, in that situation, she did the right thing, which was saving her brother.
Yeah.
And so we had to put that to the test. And that's kind of, why the story took the form it did in, recreating a situation where there is an active moment where she could stay on the shore and watch her brother drown, or she can choose Dexter yet again, and without knowing it, she's actually choosing to start to heal and to start to get better. And the brother and sister united are much stronger than apart. And so, it's
she dives back in.
So she goes back in, and that's kind of like the first bit of a wound beginning to heal. We're actually seeing it. Sister is choosing brother, and they're back together again. So.
Unfortunately, from Dexter's point of view, my sister just tried to friggin' kill me.
But at least she didn't do it in his SUV. So,
that's right.
So you got to give her a little credit.
Thank God for Jamie needing a car.
Yeah,
that's hard. He loses a lot of cars.
Yeah.
So that it's a different sort of cliffhanger, which I think is a lot of fun. That Deborah is on the path to wellness, I guess. But Dexter's now looking at his sister in a whole new light. There's one thing you can't forgive. It's murder.
Yeah, it was an attempted suicide / murder, and again, I think what sets up episode 5, your episode, so nicely is that you got to explore on the Dexter side just what does that feel like when the sibling that you've been protecting and caring about all this time, even though you are the source of her pain. What does that feel like when it's turnabout is fair play? And
so tune in next week to find out how it happens.
Yeah,
because it ain't pretty.
It's not pretty. But it's again, we're telling a mini stories with each episode, but it's always part of this larger episode. And as this final season continues, you're just going to see all those pieces, start to fall into place that not only pay off this season and the stories we've told, but an entire legacy of 96 episodes, and that there was
some fun people show up.
And it was part. We were always conscious of we are telling a story in an episode in a season, but we also had this larger story, and that's I think what's been so much fun this last season is starting to pay all that off and bring it all together. And so when you watch that final episode, it'll all make sense. It'll all kind of fit together, and that's to me that's what I'm the proudest of. Being associated with the show and getting to work with the fellow writers that I've worked with is we kind of came at this as a group, and for the most part of one mind of what this journey was for this character. With great guidance from John and Sarah and Showtime and obviously the input from Michael and the cast. But
Michael always has, when we pitch him what the season episode's going to be, or season arc is going to be, he always has opinions and thoughts, especially as we get closer to the end.
And it's great to get that kind of that outside perspective, because we get so close to it that what makes sense to us
he has a different kind of close.
He really does inhabit this character on a whole different level than we can ever imagine. And that's the joy of seeing your words being interpreted by an actor with his skill, and Jennifer and David Zayas and C.S. Lee and James Remar, all of them.
Desmond.
They
it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And it's a treat to hear what was in your head all that time, and how you'll just stare at a sentence on your computer screen for sometimes 20 minutes or half an hour, or a scene that takes a couple of hours to kind of craft, and you go back through it and it sounds a certain way in your head, and then you give it to the actors, and it may be exactly as you intended, or it may take this really kind of cool twist that you didn't ever imagine, and yet it's still your words and your story, but it's being told in a whole different way because of who's interpreting it and the skill and the craft of who's doing it. And
it's so collaborative. Television's pretty
it really is. 300 people plus to put together 1 hour of television, and you can't do it on your own, and it's just unlike perhaps theater or a feature film. To me, that's what's always been fun about being a television writer, is you get to be in that same sandbox with using those same toys, and you can bring in more toys and you get more sand. But the sandbox,
bringing a cousin from Ipanema,
cousin Oliver. If we want to go all the way back to Brady Bunch,
bringing it back.
So
we'll talk to you again for episode 11.
Yes.
And that'll be.
Oh my God!
We'll have a lot to talk about, I imagine, by that point.
Yeah. That
who knows?
The one thing about this kind of sped up schedule is by the time people are hearing this, the finale has been shot and is in a vault somewhere, and we're all sworn to secrecy. We know what happens, but you all have to wait and see. But it's going to be one hell of a ride.
Hell of a ride.
It really is.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tim, for coming in.
Thank you, Scott.
And we'll see you in a few episodes.
All right, great. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
Back for another year to talk to you guys out there
about everything.
About everything.
So how you doing, man? Thanks for coming in.
I'm good. We're taping this at the end of the season.
It's very sad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's a bummer.
That said, though, I have gone on record saying that your podcast from last season was my personal favorite.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a great time doing it.
My wife said the same thing, and it made me very nervous. Today, she's like, "Oh, you're podcasting with Desmond. You know what? He's so funny on that. You guys are so great. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because
that was my favorite one. Let's talk about man. Holy smokes, Joey Quinn's been through the ringer.
Yeah.
The sexual ringer.
He has.
Being grinded underneath Jamie.
Yeah, she wanted to keep going with her brother in the house. What a champ.
Yeah, episode 1. I think it was one of the best. That was a great intro to what Joey's up to. Hey, everybody, what's Joey up to?
What's Joey been doing? Yeah, it's that scene is hilarious to me because that would be a nightmare if a girl was not letting you get up when her brother who's 260 who has a gun just walked in the house. Whoa.
Cuban too, as you said in a later episode. What is it with you Cubans?
Yeah, I didn't write that, and I'm not racist.
No, actually, what you said wasn't racist.
You know what?
It was just
the what's his face? The writer is Cuban.
Manny Cotto.
Yeah, it's all good.
He's Cuban.
So
he knows what he's talking about, and you were acting.
I don't. You know what? Yeah, and I don't write the lyrics. I just sing the songs
that make the whole world sing.
That's right. Oh God, we're so close. For those of you out here, I'm sitting I feel like I'm at a romantic dinner. Right
It
now.
is. It's like you expect Some Enchanted Evening to start playing, and suddenly we start eating spaghetti.
Yeah, and you're staring.
And then it gets uncomfortable, and then we get the same noodle, and it's just
God,
straight out of Lady and the Tramp.
He has really nice blue eyes too. It's terrible.
Joey Quinn.
Yes.
Let's talk about Joey Quinn. This is the first episode. It's mostly all about getting us back into the groove of Joey's concerned for Deb.
Yeah.
Because as you revealed to us last year on the podcast,
it's his love of his life, man.
Love of his life. Yeah, and yet he's straight up.
He is. He's tapping some beep. So yeah, he's I think we left it, and it was the Jamie relationship was a good one for him, and in that she probably she was a good woman for him.
Yeah.
But just, it's that thing. She's not the right woman for him. It's like, she would have had him study for the sergeant's test. She wanted.
She did.
Yeah. She did.
She wants you to be better.
Yeah, she wanted me to be a better man, and that was my favorite line in episode 2. I say, maybe I just don't want to make something out of my life, and I.
Why do you think Joey said that?
I had a bunch of reasons. I was like, one, he may not want to become a sergeant because he has a horrible history of stealing, shooting people, so he doesn't want.
And that's just what we know of.
Yeah, we don't want to magnify. He doesn't want a magnifying glass on him. And there's also that thing where you've gone through. I mean, I've experienced it in my life. You've just gone through so much defeat that it's just like I'm just let me exist.
Yeah.
Living isn't really a big thing to me right now. It's more about just existing. It's not necessarily the most healthy place to be, but
it's pretty good existing though. Being a homicide detective, it's sort of the top of the heap. Cute Cuban on your arm.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
He's willing to live into that.
Yeah, he's having sex. I mean, that's. I guess he's doing his deal.
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Good.
Go to work with the brother, and it's fun too that the two of you are hiding this away from.
Do you guys realize I've slept with the sister of 2 people on this show?
That's right. Look at that. That's that's like a thing.
Yeah, what an animal. Animal.
I never thought of that.
Yeah, like who does that?
Move it in.
Yeah, who does that? Like just no repercussions. Like, I'm in here now. How do you like that? You feel all right about that?
And I like it.
Yeah, I'm tagging your sister. Hope you don't mind. Like that's just, oh my God.
I never thought.
Yeah.
Well, luckily one's a cop, the other's a serial killer. So I'm sure everything's gonna turn out okay for Joey.
Yeah, lots of male friends. Don't leave him alone in a room. Actually, Jamie came on to me.
That's right.
And then Deb in season 5.
Yeah.
I was helping her clean up.
That's right.
She came after me.
She totally just rode him cowboy.
That's
when we got to see the most amazing tan line in the history of television.
That fake suntanned, jewelry-wearing freak just attracts ladies.
So then, let's think. Joey then goes and... He's first episode, just very worried about Deb.
Yeah, first episode.
And you're the only one that and he's the only one that knows anything about where Deb is.
Where Deb is.
It's like a fun first episode. That has another, is that episode 2 where...
I come to the door. And
you come to the door. That is episode 1. Yeah,
that's episode 1.
So he comes to the door.
The bathrobe scene.
I know.
Why am I in a freaking bathrobe?
I think you were like... having sex in the bathroom.
No, we had just come out of the shower.
Okay.
And I guess Quinn is like 70 because he puts on a bathrobe after he showers. They both had on bathrobes.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know what was going on
stuff
there.
is going there.
But yeah, and then I come to the door.
Thank God you came to the door in a bathrobe.
I come to the door and the young lad's standing there. And what do I say? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you brought the
kid.
Yeah, that was actually funny. And then, yeah.
Did you swear when you shot that? Did you actually swear in front of the kid, or was the kid
Yes,
not
I
there
did.
at that point? Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that kid's hurt a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. I think he just, he was a professional. He chose to stay. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't remember. I like to think that he was there for that.
He probably was. He's good. I see him on set. I see him at times, the young Harrison.
Yeah.
I'd see him correcting other actors that they missed their line.
Dude, kids are so smart today. It drives me crazy, kind of.
Yeah?
I was so stupid when I was a knucklehead. Yeah. Like, and it's funny because my mom is, from a different generation as well. And my mom's like going to be 70. Her brother was 21, the whole thing. And, she definitely doesn't have time for the kids today. Like, she doesn't like dealing with... She's like, what? Excuse me? Children should be seen, not heard. Like, that kind of... You want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. Like, all that kind of stuff.
You curl up in a corner when other kids...
Yeah, seriously. Wooden spoon and all that.
Where she live? Your family lives still in New York?
Yeah, my mom lives in the Bronx still. And, Brother lives in New York, sister in Illinois, sister in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yep. All of us.
You go back home a lot? Back to New York?
Yeah, I try to. I try to go back a couple times a year, or I mean, now it's
when you get work in New York, do you like go stay with your mom?
No, I stay in hotel. It's tough staying up in the Bronx. It's just I don't know. I definitely wanted out of that place. Like when I was when I got to be about 18, I was like, get me out of here. But now it's cool. It's fun to go back and visit it. But yeah, I wanted out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I just was like, yeah, not a good place.
Because of the gangs?
No. It's just like...
You weren't part of the Wanderers?
Yeah, they actually shot that. They shot a scene of that movie in the football stadium that I played football in as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Van Cortlandt Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good movie.
I love that movie.
What were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about Joey.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Dexter.
Joey Desmond. Joey Quinn.
Yeah.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Catching up with Joey.
Michael C. Hall shot it.
That's right. How was that? Working
awesome.
under him, yeah?
Awesome. I love Michael. And I have, total... He's one of the few people that their opinion matters to me. Like, what?
Right.
And I love... I love him. I love working with him.
Yeah.
I want to kiss him. What? I was like, I love him. No, he's just, he's a good dude. And I've, gotten to know him through the years working on this show. And believe it or not, in real life, Dexter and Quinn are friends.
Yeah, whenever I've seen you guys.
Yeah.
Together.
We're cool people. It's just a TV show.
He will not date. He may date your sister.
Yeah.
But
I was at his house on 4th of July for the barbecue. How about that? Yeah. This guy. Anyway, yeah.
Did you bring meat?
What did I do? I brought ice because they needed it. They requested I bring ice.
You got a text. Bring some ice.
And I brought 2 apple pies for America.
Right on.
Yeah. Kept it real American.
That's a fun time. So, back to Joey.
Yeah, Joey. Okay, yeah. So what are we doing here? So episode 2...
It's lots of concern for... I know, it seems like such a long time ago because it was... Lots of concern for Deb.
Yeah.
Again, it's still rolling along until we get to... 3, where the stink really hits the fan.
Yeah, 3 is, it's a...
What do you think Joey was thinking during the confession? How did you handle that thing?
I bring her in to talk in episode 2.
That's right.
And
because you need some help.
Yeah, I need some help, and
with the El Sapo case.
Yeah, and that was actually that scene was actually kind of it was a weird one to play because I didn't want to interrogate her.
Right. Because you weren't thinking. Because Joey wasn't thinking that at all. He wasn't thinking this girl.
No, and it had
shot him.
Yeah, it had to come off. Like that's why like the chairs were kind of not like face to face because you just kind of want to take that element out of it. I was actually just looking for help, and then she kind of freaks out. Michael Dexter comes in and pulls her out of it.
That's a great sequence too. That sort of PTSD flash. Thing that was going on.
Crazy. And then that scene between them outside in the alley was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really, really great.
And shot by Michael.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
For a first one, do you want to direct ever?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I've done it long enough that I could do it. I enjoy acting more. I would enjoy directing, but I don't know. It might be like
some gangster movie.
Yeah,
New York gangster movie,
or like a short film. So like real short.
A ton of work.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
smokes.
a ton of work, and
everybody's looking to you for answers.
Yeah. I kind of, like on this or something like that, it would be fun because you kind of, everybody knows what they need to do. And most of the work is going to be done with your guest stars or your, the people who are coming in. And, yeah, it would be fun to direct a TV episode, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's work on that.
Anyway.
Rob G, let's work on that.
It'll never happen.
So that was a fun scene, and it seems like Joey sort of doesn't. He knows that she's hurting, and the whole time he's wondering what the hell is going. I mean, I think there was even that moment when you ask Michael or ask Dex.
Yeah. What
it was what's going on with her,
what scene is that? What episode?
I think that was 2 also. It was as you guys were walking in to the interrogation room when wasn't it, or am I getting confused?
No, there's
because you brought you brought Deb in, sat her down.
Yeah,
and the two of you, you're just opening up you open up the file and you're walking her through all the pictures of El Sapo.
And I say to her, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
To her, and then Michael comes in. He goes, "Family emergency," and he's right.
I'm thinking about the confession scene later.
Yeah. And then I say, "No problem."
Yeah.
You know, obviously,
you sit there watching.
Yeah, and then
I think you went to the John after that scene.
Yeah, exactly. Just, poor guy.
And then 3, the
3,
it gets really intense because she comes in
and
fully PTSD'd out.
Yeah, and
wait, you know what? Are we forgetting in is it in 2? There's that great moment at Papa's.
Yeah.
Oh,
after you go to Batista.
Yeah.
To Zayas and say
I'm gonna take the sergeant's test. Yeah, and then he's that's the whole thing. You know, I think Quinn is really. He's at that point really he's like making an effort. Like, you know what, I'm gonna try to be a decent human being here. You know, and do things, I guess, by the book or whatever. And then in episode 3.
And then you see Deb.
And then I see Deb
outside that bar, and she pulls away.
Yeah, that scene was a heartbreaker. I don't know how it registered on TV.
It did.
Yeah,
it works out really well.
Yeah, I remember doing it, and Michael was like, he's like, that's my favorite thing. I remember Manny was there that night, Manny Cotto, the writer, and Michael, and they were like, that was such an, they knew from watching her side and my side, because we were so far apart that we couldn't really see each other's facial expressions. But that was
that's good.
Yeah, it was like that moment where I'm just like, I still love this girl.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and yet Joey still goes home with
with
Amy. With Jamie.
Yeah,
and gets that call that following episode early in the morning, like 4 a.m.
Yep, he's in bed. And he gets the call that she's been arrested.
and lies.
Yeah,
flat out lies to Jamie.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said
cop work or
work.
Yeah, police work, and then
because she sort of goes, "What is it? Is it work?" And you're like, "Yeah."
I remember just that scene where I go in to pick her up, and she's just so hammered. And like just passed out basically, and oh my God, like it's just the worst possible situation. What happened?
And it was a lot of fun. No, seriously, for people that are listening, it's like we go through these. We're filming the final episode right now.
Yeah,
so it seems like a while ago.
Yeah, it does. It's been a while, and like what I remember. I remember going to get her, and then
drive her to Elway's.
I drive her to Elway's,
which is then there's a fun moment there with when Elway's clocks.
Yeah, he sees,
getting out of the car.
Yeah, and he sees me, and I'm just like, who is this schmuck? You know what I mean?
And she's in the same clothes she wore the night before.
Yeah.
So it looks like the walk of shame.
Yeah. And I remember I'm like, I have that line to her. I'm like, yeah, I've done what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's tough to watch someone do that.
Yeah.
And
I forget when it was. There's that other fun scene where when you're saying I've been here, but I think it was in that scene. You're like, I've been here before. I know exactly. I got too.
Yeah.
And she's like, why? And
I'm like, yeah, because of you. Like, what do you? Why do you? It was like, what do you think? Like, yeah, sweetheart.
And she took it.
Yeah. She got it. And then she goes banana sandwich and decides to come in and confess to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that? How was
It was tricky.
That's a pretty intense. It's a tricky scene to do.
It's a hard scene because you're asking like me or whatever the character to just dismiss everything he's hearing. It's
right.
like this is just drunk madness coming out of this person's mouth. Jen did such a good job playing this scene that it made it easier for me to go like, what? What are you saying? Like you're out of your mind. And to be honest, though, I don't really think that he would care if she did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even though it was a cop.
Yeah, I don't think he would care. I honestly, I don't. I mean, like, God, that is kind of rough to say. But I think,
love does that, man.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it's like, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Yeah, he would care, I guess. But
It was a
it's not to say he wouldn't care.
Yeah, I know.
But there's no way in hell he's going to send her to jail. Which is, I'm so sorry. That's just a bad thing to say. Like, yeah, it's cool. You can just kill someone, like whatever. But
yeah. So future girlfriends take note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
feel free to pull your 22 on anybody you want. Put one in their head. I got your back.
Joey will cover you.
Yeah, I got your back no matter what, honey. Yeah. I guess. And she's saying all this stuff, and I think it kind of, he's just like, whoa, she's really, like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
And I mean, and I have to be for the rest of the season to work. I can't buy that. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a world where Joy, we talked about it in the room, because at one point we were thinking, should she go to Batista?
No,
because Batista's the older brother, but he doesn't have the same. Yeah, it was sort of, he doesn't have that same sort of feeling that Joey has.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a blind spot, sort of.
I'm beyond Dexter. I'm the closest thing you can get to someone that you could tell something like that to.
Yeah,
because I've
a little sordid past.
Dude, I gave Pop is on Quinn.
Yeah,
it's $10,000 that built that place. That's my restaurant.
Yeah.
It's actually the Russian mob's restaurant.
Yeah.
I've destroyed blood evidence. What this guy has done, I freed Serco, like last year, basically. I mean, he's done some foul beep.
Yeah.
And, it's...
He seems to live with it okay, though. Joey does. Like, when you look at how... what Deborah did's pretty huge to actually, to cover up for Dexter, over the past year and a half or so.
Yeah.
So that weighs on her, even though they're all bad guys. And then shooting your lieutenant in the chest to protect a serial killer would weigh on her.
Absolutely.
But I feel like Joey wears it okay.
Yeah, I think that I feel like he has to.
Yeah.
He has to, and I think for him, he's able to justify a lot of it. That's the thing. It's like, you can rationalize. He's just rationalizing any situation that's placed in front of him. Like with stealing the money, it's because it's going to go to someone higher up. With with shooting George last year, he's beating a woman with
that one seems sort of easy.
Yeah, the blood evidence one, that's a tough one, but that's the only one that I kind of am like, yeah, but anyway, he ended up dead, so whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Scales will be balanced one way or another. That's right. I feel like that's how Joey sort of lives his life a little bit.
Yeah, it's you even the scales by doing good.
Yeah, catching bad guys, catching murderers.
Yeah, catching murderers.
Because he's a good cop. Other than the things you said.
Yeah, he's a good cop.
I feel safer knowing he's on the streets of Miami.
Do you really, Scott? Get out of here. Really, this nut job driving around in a Cadillac out there, stealing money, freeing people. Come on.
As long as I kept him away from my sister, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. It's actually the only good thing he does. He brings the ladies pleasure. The rest of it, he's a scumbag. No.
But you wouldn't want. But would you?
What?
As an actor, it's fun to play this sort of a cop rather than straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my favorite moments with him are when I'm allowed to, like, play the humor.
Which you're freaking great at.
I love that. I love anything that's remotely kind of, corrupt with him, and I really love the scenes with Deb. I mean, that's, definitely. I didn't really get to work with Michael much until this year, and besides
a little bit in 5
season 4 was really the where I was just going at him all the time, like kind of like some playground sort of, like where you go and all that. Blah, blah.
And then, but 5 you brought in RoboCop.
5 on him. Yeah, I did. I brought in RoboCop on him, but then I told him back out.
Yeah,
I said, get out of here. Yeah. And my man Dexter. Did him in.
There's a point. I don't know if people know this. There's a point during season 5 when we were watching dailies of you and
Peter
Weller, and suddenly we thought, what if we revealed that was his father?
Yeah,
because looked like he could have been a dad.
Yeah, for real. I thought that too.
Yeah,
yeah. He could have been my dad. I think he was probably one of those guys that brought me through it, and I don't know.
Those scenes were fun to watch, by the way. Those Peter Weller you scenes. He was.
Yeah.
He seemed like, even on set, he seemed to sort of want to control it.
Yeah, he was a little annoying sometimes because he would basically like change lines that would like make him seem like this real like badass character, and I'm like, check it out.
You rolled with it though.
Check it out. You're still 60. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? I'm 30. I will whip your butt. Like, get with it. I got a gun too. So whatever.
It made it good though. Yeah,
it did made it good because I actually heard him in one scene because he kept telling me to slam him up against this wall. In the scene where he said something about Deb, and I cracked his ribs because he kept saying to me, "Go hard, go," and I was like, you don't want me running full speed into you. And he was like, yeah, do it. And I did it. And he literally went, he was like, oh! And down he went into the hospispittal.
But he never held it against you.
I don't think so. He couldn't. He was the one who requested it. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? And,
it's a great scene.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Reminiscing season.
Sorry, I'm back on season.
No, that's okay.
I'm all over.
No, I love it. It's great to talk.
Yeah.
This is it, man.
Yeah,
we're in season 8. This is toward the end.
Yeah.
Another, you and Batista, you and Zayas have been amazing this year. It's been a lot of fun to watch him.
Yeah.
Because before it was sort of like little brother / partner.
Yeah.
And now it's like, wait a minute, is this guy good enough to marry my sister?
Yeah, is he good enough to marry my sister? And
was it episode 2 was another one of my favorite scenes, the one with the one where you went to visit the guy that you thought was the killer, Lyle Sussman's mother.
Yeah, that was fun to shoot. Some of the best stuff that got dropped. I mean, because it was just too ridiculous, like to keep in probably. But you can see a little bit of it. One is that I'm holding the cup with like my pinky out, like a true gentleman. And there was a whole thing with like her coffee was supposed to be so terrible that like when you took a sip of it, you were like, oh,
yeah.
And that quilt was amazing. David has the best line in that scene. It's like a nightmare in fur.
Yeah,
that was a great line. Nightmare.
You're like,
in fur.
This place is that quilt's creeping me out.
That quilt's creeping me out. We gotta get out of here. Like they've just seen like a dude get his head chopped off. But that quilt, that's just too much. I imagine that it smelled gamey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what the other side looked like.
Bunch of lips. You're gonna have to lose that.
They might keep it.
Yeah.
Which brings us to episode 4.
Episode 4. Yeah. Hold on. Episode 3. We did.
Three
confession.
The confession and how you sort of had to rectify the things that she was saying.
Yeah.
And that was also our opportunity to sort of explain this is how Deborah and Dexter got away with it.
Yeah.
Because we started 6 months later. We never really explained anything up until that scene, and it felt like this is the moment to sort of fully explain what they did and how I love that moment when you're like, Dexter explained it all to you.
Yeah.
And she's like, Dexter.
That's been the biggest challenge playing this part, is having to dismiss information.
Right.
Like constantly just be like, I don't know that happened. Like, or just, like dismiss stuff and whatever. It's fine because I sometimes, whatever, we'll see what happens. I don't know that everything that you think went past me went past me.
Yeah. No, I for sure think that
there's things
that Joey knows something went down with Weller.
Hey, guys, remember season 5? There's a file in my house. Remember that. Of them dumping bodies. Never got taken.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we won't put that part.
But I don't know where
Lumen and Dexter left that in my house.
Oh, that's right.
That file. Don't worry, it won't ever air. But this will be cut. But yeah, they never took it out. They were like, let's leave it here. It never went away.
Huh. Yeah. Do you think Joey actually knows where that is though at this point? Because he moved to a new place.
Yeah, he moved to a new place.
I imagine he was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Is this mine? No.
What is this? Yeah, I mean, if anything, I mean, you see at the end of season 5 where he's like, you did me a solid.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Yeah.
With the blood work, with whatever.
Yeah. Took the blood off the shoes because that would have been hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So.
And plus, you like his sister.
I do like his sister. A lot hinges on that.
Joey Quinn, sister.
Joey Quinn, yeah, for real.
That could be the porn offshoot. Brings us.
I was parched.
Yes, me too.
All right.
That brings us to episode 4, which is the season.
Can you imagine?
4. Let's go back.
That brings us to season 4. We only have 36 more. All right, so yeah, we see episode 4, season 8.
This is the Deb nearly committing suicide because it starts great. It starts with that you and Amy in bed, getting a call, totally lying. We're going back to what we talked about earlier. Totally lying to her, taking off, helping her out.
Yep.
It's like Joey will do. Is there anything Joey wouldn't do for her at this point?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like he. Honestly, that's just you're doing somebody a solid.
Right.
Like if somebody you care about calls you and they're like, "Yeah, I got arrested, dude. Like, help me out. I'm gonna go down to the precinct and bail him out. Whatever I'm gonna do."
But Joey knows enough at this point after the previous episodes that you don't tell Jamie that I'm helping out that.
Yeah, she's a little bit jealous. And I didn't really give her a good reason to be jealous, I gotta say. Like, I might feel that way, but I haven't been bothering.
Yeah, I go after her.
I care.
Yeah.
So what? If it'll blur the line. Oh, God, I hate people. I hate when women do that in real life. They're like, this guy, I have no feelings for whatever. He's just a friend. Really? Listen to Bismarcky.
So, what else happened in that episode? Why am I blanking?
Episode 3 or 4?
No, 4. This is
yeah.
Another one of my favorite scenes. This is scattered, but it's okay, man. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
I love a podcast. The studying.
Yeah, the
Jamie.
Studying. Yeah.
And Zayas and you studying.
Yeah. I honestly, that scene where I'm studying, I think that, I honestly just don't think he gives.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's not about being dumb. It's just like,
he's like, honestly, I got to sit here with your big ass, hanging over me. He's got this hulking guy, asking him questions. He's like, really, dude? And
you spend all day. I mean, Joey spends all day with this guy, then goes home with him.
And he
has to do a test.
Yeah, he has to do a test.
He should have thrown some pork rinds on the floor.
Oh, my God. Did that make it?
Yeah.
I forgot if that made it. Yeah, throw some pork rinds on the floor. I don't know. Just get me out of here.
That line killed me.
Yeah.
When I was watching with a bunch of friends, I was like, everyone started laughing at something else that was said.
Yeah.
I was like, Everyone be quiet, listen to this line.
Yeah, that whole scene is pretty funny. They went real low in that scene, like the camera pan. I was like, oh my God, thank God there was some shadow there, because like, I was like...
Are you saying if people paused it?
It doesn't matter, you ain't seeing anything.
Oh, right.
I mean, I'm just... Movie magic, movie magic. Everybody,
it's not that they wouldn't. There's in nothing, real life.
Yeah, there people are. I'm wearing a sock, basically,
like a Red Hot Chili Pepper.
Yeah, it's like Woodstock 1994. I'm wearing a sock around the hammer. Yeah. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, but I was shocked when they panned down. I was like, whoa. I couldn't believe how low it went.
That's right, because we saw that at the, we had like a little premiere party where they showed the first 2 episodes. So you're sitting there watching it with all the actors and crew and executives everybody.
Yeah, I was like...
On a big screen.
Yeah, I was like, everybody's about to be really impressed. I'm kidding. No. Oh, let's edit that out. Anyway, that's terrible. So anyway, where are we at now? Episode 4.
We're back at 4 again.
Yeah, okay.
It's Deb committing suicide.
Jesus. She's committing suicide? Yeah, she tried. Yeah.
You didn't know. Like,
I didn't
didn't know it at that point.
Yeah, she comes up.
And it seems like everything's okay.
Yeah, she comes up. She's acting all weird. And, you know, like she shows up and it's like doing that like weird hug thing with me.
Yeah.
Did that make it?
Yeah.
All right, so she shows up to the precinct and she's like giving me that goodbye hug, which you're always just like, what the?
Yeah, because she seemed better, which we'd read about how sometimes when people make the decision that they're that suddenly they feel like a great burden's been lifted, sort of. And,
absolutely,
and
you're relieving yourself of the suffering of the world or what.
Yeah.
Basically, you've worked yourself into a mind state where that is a viable option, and then it becomes the best option. And she's in that place, and she's coming and she's doing, like saying the goodbye to me. And,
which I don't think Joey caught it as a goodbye.
No, he reads it as like, what? Yeah. Like what's going on here?
And then she says like, go make Jamie happy or something.
Yeah, she's like, I tell her, I'm like, Jamie's just kind of jealous, still thinks there's something between us. And it's
a fun moment too, because it felt like, I mean, at least on the page and then especially what you did, it felt like there was this hope that on Joey's part that she would go, well, there is. He's sort of confessing this thing of what Jamie is speaking in the third person, sort of, that Jamie thinks there's something between us.
Yeah.
And hoping that maybe she'll say,
I think there is. No, but I think he knows it's dead.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he has hope.
Yeah.
Because I really do. I feel like he's like, I care about this person, but I ruined it. Yeah. Because you see, he asks her to marry him.
Right.
She says no, and then he just goes bananas.
Yeah.
And like basically gets caught, having sex with like one of the witnesses, like that professor and all that. Yeah. So he's just
waking up drunk with a sprinkler and a shoe outside.
She's there last year. Like basically at this point, I was dating a stripper.
Yeah.
So at that point, he's destroyed himself in his eyes to her.
Yeah.
So, I don't even, it just really cares about her. Obviously still has feelings, but doesn't really, I don't think, believes that there's,
anything's going to happen.
That it's going to happen now.
Which I guess that makes Joey a good guy with Jamie, that it's not necessarily.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's like, the scenes with, I'm like, no, like, I truly do care about this girl, but I don't think anything's going to happen at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, I think he's basically in that process where like Jamie is the first decent woman he's dated since, not that Nadia wasn't,
she
but
sort of was.
Yeah, it's just she wasn't, but
she took the money and ran.
Yeah, she did. She bolted on me, but you have it's like, she's a decent woman, and he's making that attempt back into it. So
and he's helping her become a sergeant and everything.
Yeah, and she wants him to become a sergeant, and just working on him, man.
Yeah,
he's just like, leave me alone. So where are we at? Ow, cramped in my leg. Just a cramp in my leg.
Podcasting may create cramping.
Yeah, seriously, don't cramp on a podcast. Wait, what are we talking?
Yeah, that's the history of Joey up through episode 804.
Yeah, that's what he's done. Just so everybody knows, we're doing this podcast the day before the last day of filming.
Have you wrapped yet? When do you wrap?
I wrap on the last day.
Okay.
It's so sad. Oh my God. It's brutal.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is. It is brutal. This is like 6 years. This is for me 6 years. For the rest of them 8 years.
Yeah, I've been here since season 1.
Yeah, so for you 8, and it's yeah.
You can take a piece of Joey home with you.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna get the one of the prop watches.
Oh yeah.
It's just so identifiable with him. So.
What about the arm weight shake in the apartment? Have you noticed he's got that
thing that does
looking thing?
Yeah. That they put in his apartment is unbelievable to me. Like I sometimes I'm like, what? Who? What? Why is he? Why is his?
I love that he's got the weight shake though. I can just picture him sitting at home, drinking a beer,
just doing the weight shake,
shaking it.
Yeah,
shaking. Watching the Killer Clowns on the VCR.
Yeah, the private life. I don't.
And there's always clothes on the. There's always clothes on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
I think that seems right.
Yeah, clothes in the bathroom floor.
Does he have a maid?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not some like big time deal.
right.
Just someone comes in, does maybe the laundry, cleans up a little bit, does the dishes.
Yeah, I feel like he needs that.
Yeah, he needs that.
Change the sheets.
Yeah, he has to. This character has to evolve. He's got to move for your storylines because, he's an alcoholic, and then he's like, you got to cut that back, and so yeah, actually.
You play him like he quit drinking altogether.
This year I did, yeah. Every scene I have him in, he's drinking water. Like he's trying, like the idea being like he's really trying to like be a better human being,
Yeah.
And
is there happiness for Joey? Don't know.
In what sense? At the end
At
of all
the end,
this?
who knows? Huh?
Is there happiness for Joey? Oh my God! Is there happiness for Joey? I mean, I can answer that for you.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's not. Cut that out. Yeah, he's.
Man, thanks so much, Desmond, for coming in.
Yeah,
yeah.
Thank you, and to anybody listening to this, thank you so much for watching this show. It is this show has meant a lot to me, and it changed me a lot. I came into doing this show, and this show was a big part of my life. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was a pleasure writing words.
Yeah.
Watching you make magic.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
It was the whole
from read-throughs on.
Yeah. It was a great run, and I will miss it much.
Yes.
So.
You got anything else coming up in the next few months?
Nope.
Nope.
Just figuring out what's next.
Yeah, well, because the truth is, we didn't really stop.
No.
From between 7 and 8, you guys had like a couple months off, and then we were right back in the stink of it.
Jamming. Yeah. So
you can't do anything during these times.
Yeah, I mean it's basically now you're going out to find another job.
I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Yeah.
People love that Desmond Harrington. So damn sexy when he's not cramping. Have you ever had to do a show where you had to cover up your tattoos, or you always show them? I mean, like with makeup?
Yeah. Have I ever? No, I've had to cover them with like a shirt or something like that. That's always the best option. But, it used to be a big deal to get tattoos covered. But no, I haven't.
It totally fits Joey.
Yeah, it worked for Joey, and it's they're easily coverable, but I've never covered them up. It's kind of cool because the one that you see the most is my mother's name. So that's pretty. I always like that. I like.
What's it say?
Maureen.
Maureen.
Yeah.
So. And then you have a club.
I can't tell you about that one. It's a shamrock. And it doesn't mean anything bad or anything like that, but yeah.
It's your own thing.
It's my own thing.
What about the tramp stamp? What's that?
my lower back. Oh, dude. I actually was with a dude back in the 90s, hanging out with him, when he got a tramp stamp on his lower back. And what he got written across his lower back, he got the word warrior. He got the word warrior over his ass.
I might borrow that. That's pretty funny. Good character.
For real. I mean, warrior.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez. Wow. I mean, yeah. Oh, my God. That was, I don't know.
What's your
Give me
favorite moment, either behind the scenes, whatever, over the past 8 years? Or past 5 years? For you as playing, Joey, or something that happened?
Okay, so probably one of my favorite scenes was when I was in season 6. I love season 6 for Quinn.
Yeah,
because he's just ridiculous. The scene where he goes and he thinks that he slept with this like hot young blonde girl, and we find out it's her mother, basically. Yeah, I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes.
It's like you and Batista,
you
and Zayas go to the door, and the hot daughter comes to the door.
Yeah, and she's like, no, you're talking about my mom.
The Waffle House.
And then the thing, like, we took pictures. Love that. And then, what else? That scene's one of my favorites.
You know what else? I think it ended up on the floor. It cut it on the floor, which is too bad. But it was the
I know what you're gonna bring up.
Yeah, when you and Zayas were smoking some weed,
and we went to that guy's house.
Yeah,
dude, that was hilarious.
What was the name? He kept saying
Geller. Yeah,
Geller.
Yeah, Geller. That's right, Geller. Yeah, he kept saying it, and it's hilarious. Yeah. I remember Lauren Gussis wrote that episode.
Yep.
She did a great. Was it you or was it just Lauren?
It was Lauren Gussis.
Lauren did a great job.
Yeah. And it was very. Those dailies were like the best. I wish we could release those dailies.
Dude, they were.
Geller.
Yeah, I mean, even just getting stoned in the car was great. It was funny.
It was very Cheech and Chong.
I know.
Yeah.
Did they play the Eric Burdon song? Did that make it? Was that in the episode?
Yeah, I was in there.
Yeah, that's right. So that, and then I'd say Offset. One of my favorite, I guess my favorite moment, probably. I've had so much fun on this show. I'm friends with all these people, so it's just,
it is like a little family.
Yeah, man,
it really is.
I had like birthday parties where everybody's there, not you.
No, I never get invited. Writers don't get invited.
No, they did. I think you did get invited, actually.
I never. If I did,
dude, you got invited.
If I got invited, I'd have showed up. You don't understand. Us writers, we're just like, please invite us.
The only one that came was Wendy West.
I would have come.
She came. And she was the only one.
I think Wendy crashed it.
I honestly, well, it was like the day of, and I was turning 35, and I was like, and I hate birthday parties, and I was like, I guess I gotta do like something because it's sort of a big one, 35.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I had people meet up.
Oh no, you're right. I think I had a whole bunch of family over.
Yeah.
And it really was like the day of.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't expect.
I wish
anybody.
I
didn't.
I'd have brought you a nice gift.
Really?
I'm good for gifts.
All right. Well, yeah.
When you turn 35 again, call me.
Yeah, so I don't know, birthday parties, everything. Being on set, like just the conversations I've had with you, there's all those like moments that are like very minimal and hard to there's small moments that are hard to explain over this format, but they're there, and
I think one of my favorites was that day that you threw Jason Gadrick through the window, or that fight. That was a good day.
Do you remember that day?
Huh?
Do you remember that day?
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened though?
The stripper getting cut up, or
it was a mess. Yeah, the glass did not break.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was.
Yeah. There was a little mistake on set, and yeah,
it happens.
It happens. Yeah, that was.
And then suddenly, the two of you on the floor. The girl screaming everywhere and just pounded.
Yeah, that was
a Schlattmann script, but
yeah,
I came down just sort of see.
That scene I remember was tough. I'll tell you, it was tough for me because I had to talk while I was beating his face in.
Yeah.
And I don't. I was about to say, I don't talk when I do that. No, I've never. When I've gotten into fights when I was younger, I don't talk when you don't talk.
It's sort of an acting TV thing.
Yeah, you just beat the shit out of somebody, and then you say what you gotta say once you're done. You want to make sure you're done with
Clint Eastwood never talked when he beat somebody up. That is true. Like every which way but loose or whatever.
Yeah, you're focused on the task at hand because like if once you got somebody, you got to get them done, and then you can talk all the smack you want. But you can't talk it while you're doing it. Make sure it's done with first.
Sort of comic booky, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
Because Spider-Man, all those guys, they talk as they beat.
Well, Quinn's sort of like Spider-Man.
Yeah. There you go.
I've always thought of him like that.
Yeah. If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Who would it be?
Did you read comics when you were growing up?
I did. Maybe the Sandman.
Oh yeah.
I had a Spider-Man, and I just remember I don't even know. I just think that's one that's. Has he been in a movie?
They did a movie with him too. Yeah.
Who played him?
It was the guy from
Thomas Hayden
Church. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he would make a good Sam. You got to be big. I don't know. Yeah. They've made them all now. There was some cool comic books that I remember back in the day. I used to steal them, like a lot.
From stores or from friends?
Dude, me and this kid, I won't name him.
No, don't.
Oh my God.
Did he have Warrior tattooed above his?
No, but he was horrible. Like, he was a really skinny kid, and he would body pack comics. We would go to these vintage comic book stores.
Yeah.
Body pack comics.
Wow.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like, it was like, and my sister one time took us up there, knew he had taken all these comics. As I was paying for mine, she couldn't say anything because she's with him, and it's like I don't want to, go to, like whatever, and so whatever.
It's good training for Joey Quinn.
Yeah, stealing comic books. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, hey man, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks
for doing this.
Thank you.
It's great run. We'll see and Joey's got a lot of stuff coming up, man. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised with what happens.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I hope so. And I hope it's good stuff, and everybody enjoys it.
I've seen it. It is.
Yeah,
it's real good.
Yep.
You're good stuff. Desmond Harrington.
That sound is me patting myself on the back. All right. Goodbye.
So there it is. That's the end. But don't worry, it has to happen again and again.
Again and again.
Well, actually, 7 more times after this. 8 more times.
8 more times.
I'm bad with math. That's why I'm a writer, technically.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
I'm bad with words. That's why people write them for me. Later.